Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So we are in quite an interesting spot with Radiant. I honestly was not expecting to not get an episode of Sword Art, so I definitely wanted to let some time pass because I won't be able to put anything out on the channel besides just Radiant for today. But with this week's episode, we pretty much learned that in the grand scheme of how just the world works in mysterious ways that we aren't very, oh my god, I'm getting hit by that. We aren't very sure like what some people can do to pretty much stay out of trouble and pretty much be in a position where if anything happens, you have to take full responsibility, even if that means that you weren't the one who did everything, but somehow, some way, you can be attached to it. Somehow you were there, you should have been able to help avoid some of the problem if there was a problem type of deal. So, seemingly, Dragonov is taking all of the responsibility for what had gone down in Rumble City, and at the same time we're getting this new perspective on what's his face. God, I can't think right now. We're getting a new perspective on Seth and just what the whole Rumble Town incident actually did to him. So it's this weird dialogue between a person who's with the army that's, quote unquote good and kind of wants to do the same thing that Seth is doing. It just comes down to this weird notion that whoever kind of does whatever they want and expects something to be like coming out of it, they don't usually have their way. And that's what we're seeing in this week's episode when when Seth straight up saves everybody, right? And we know he didn't mean to like go out of control, and the reason why he did go out of control is because his brother somehow triggered that in him to even happen so he could save his brother's life. So if you think of it like that, it's even worse that he's having, nightmares about something he honestly had no actual case in stopping. So when you get stuff like this, it really sucks to see him, and at such a young age, if he is really young. I don't know if being cursed like messes up your aging process or something, but with him being in this position and practically having the world just sitting on his shoulders, he feels like the world's sitting on his shoulders because everybody's just paying attention to him. He's called the Debt King, all these different things. So when I hear that he's kind of over how things are in this place, like in the sense of he's over the fact that he himself doesn't know if he can control himself to not attack all of these good people. And as soon as I was thinking that instance and thinking about what it would happen if he did lose control or something like that, he would wreck everybody here that we know of. We don't know anybody here that's stronger than, let's say, the guy that he slaps one time to the ground. We don't know anybody's that strong in the wizard place besides maybe his teacher, and that's kind of stretching it. So to see him not, to see him unaware of what he could possibly do to people, it definitely scares him probably more than anything in this whole entire situation that's happened in Rumbletown. He's not even afraid of the people coming for revenge. He's just worried about what is happening with him and how he can fix it pretty much. So I don't know. I love this way of thinking with the show. It's almost like they're easily telling us that wherever the story necessarily is going to break apart, in the sense of we had this easy-going environment that Seth put himself in, and we had this easy-going environment that Dragonoff was in, and seemingly they're both kind of in positions to be taken out of those places. In Dragonoff's case, he's saying you have to sometimes leave a place to truly protect it. And that also could go two ways for Seth. Like Seth needed to leave from Rumbletown to protect it. He also now needs to leave this place that he's at now because he's such a high priority target. So there you go. Like Dragunov definitely is in a weird position, and Seth is putting himself in a position where seemingly he doesn't want to even be here anymore. So I'm more interested in where that could lead Seth in the future, simply because I didn't expect him to want to leave in the case of him being so scared of his power. And not to mention, Alma just showed up, and she is, pretty aware of supposedly what he could have became. And I think that's another reason why she said what she said before he left. Just don't turn into a monster, pretty much. And what did he do? He sees himself as a monster, so he literally couldn't even keep his word to Alma, and he's becoming something that he truly didn't want to become. So it's getting pretty rough for our boy out here, and I honestly don't even see half of what's his face is gonna do, what Seth's gonna do if, as soon as he comes back to doing whatever he was trying to get across to everybody. He's literally in a position where he could either save a lot of people. Oh my god, he countered me. Or he could end up putting a lot more people in danger than he even knows. So it's a really sticky situation now that we know how powerful Seth is, but it's even more stickier because he doesn't know if he wants to actually, you know, keep even the team he's on, keep the same company, because he doesn't want them caught up in any of this either. So I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do. I mean, he practically gave us the answer that he wants to go on another adventure. He wants to leave. He wants to figure out what's best for him and how to, still destroy the Radiant. He's not going anywhere seemingly here. It's just the messed up part of it all is, how does Seth plan on leaving if he's in so much debt? Like, who the heck is going to actually let a man go away who just raised his debt even more before leaving again to, like, he got 100 million dimes worth of coffee? Like, nah, bro, you aren't going nowhere. You're paying off that debt, and if you don't, I'm pretty sure he's going to be haunted down by some people trying to collect money from him. So I'm very interested just to see where that all plays out in the grand scheme of things, because I honestly did not expect him to be even considering leaving right now, and here we are about to witness that and actually see in the grand scheme of things where that actually leads him, and if it leads him into more people that are stronger, or is it just going to lead him into more problems that then put other places in danger. So it's this weird two-way streak that you go out and you try to help, but at the same time you're more of a threat than you are an actual helper, because now he has those people straight up following him at all times as well. So Radiant, please come back soon. The last episode is coming out next Saturday, guys, and I cannot wait. We get a little glimpse of what's going to happen. Supposedly Seth wants to set out and leave, and a whole bunch of nemesis just show up and attack, and that somehow snaps him into his form, which he's going to use that ultimate power practically in front of everybody here now. So I think this will be an easier departure than we first imagined, because first of all, two people out of, like, or three people knew about this transformation that's living with Seth right now. And after he has this happen, I could imagine that Seth is going to be running across everywhere trying to help and save people, and while he's doing that, they're going to be in a position to probably see him in that transformation form if he doesn't complete the task quick enough. So I don't know, guys. We're in a very, very hairy spot for our boy. and I truly hope we get to see a good outcome for him. It's just with how this show has been showing us the overall narrative of the powers, and even we heard what could happen if he uses the power again. So when he uses his power, are we about to see? Um, are we straight up about to see him take a lot more damage to his overall body? You know, so a lot of questions with little to no answers. I mean, and other than that happening, we really hear a strong, powerful line from the main guy that's the scariest one out of everybody we've seen so far, even scarier than Grim, and that's the General. And he says the line of, and he's being compared to Dragunov. He's like, yeah, Dragunov believes in justice and wants to strive to make the best outcomes possible, but me, I know we're not the same because my power can change the whole entire world, and I'm gonna make everybody who doesn't pretty much follow what I do die, and make all the people that do follow me live and continue to control the world and stuff like that. So with that type of mentality, we can already see that this guy is going to be a problem. Not to mention that Seth's brother, quote unquote, is there, and if that's the case and Seth's brother is on board and he's on this man's team, what does that say about the overall narrative? Oh my god, that was sick. What does that say about the overall narrative of this show and just where these two characters are going to meet in the crossroads, you know? So we're definitely going to get a lot of info, I feel like, pretty soon here. And with all that being said, I can't wait to see what you guys are feeling on this show. It's definitely been a fun ride watching and getting to react to all of this stuff and tell you guys my feelings on it. But it's coming to a close end, and from what I can tell, Crunchyroll has been blowing it up on their channel and stuff, so I really hope that and just the show overall has enough push behind it to get a season 2 relatively quickly, because Dan Machi is literally just now getting its season 2, and it came out in like 2014, I want to say, or something, you know, guys? So that's the old school generation of animes that get their times to come out. That was usually always the same times. So if that happens to this one, the new generation is practically dead in my mind, and we can still expect to get all of these long-term waits for great animes that deserve better than that. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case it is when you're watching this, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, peace.